What began in 2022 as a sudden invasion has, by 2025, become a long and exhausting war. Thousands have died, millions displaced, and the world watches as a geopolitical chess match continues with no clear winner. This is the Russia-Ukraine war in 2025. Russia has strengthened its hold in eastern Ukraine, especially in regions like Donbass, Zaporizhia, and Crimea. They've solidified their presence. At the same time, Ukraine, backed by NATO and Western support, continues to resist fiercely. The conflict has evolved beyond tanks and artillery. It's now a hybrid battle. Things cyber attacks, economic sanctions, and an information war all rolled into one. The US and its NATO allies remain committed. They maintain a steady flow of military and financial aid to Ukraine. It's a lifeline that keeps Ukraine in the fight, but it also keeps the conflict alive. On the other side, Russia, despite international condemnation, has found support in unlikely places. Countries like China, Iran, and North Korea, they provide Russia with strategic support, whether it's economic, military, or diplomatic. So let's talk about the current situation. What does 2025 look like on the ground? What are the key events that have shaped the war so far this year? And what's the global response to these events? Has the UN or any other major organization tried to intervene? The Russia-Ukraine war has become a prolonged and devastating conflict with significant global implications. The fighting has intensified in recent months, resulting in thousands of casualties on both sides. Despite numerous calls for peace, a resolution remains elusive. The United Nations and other global organizations have expressed deep concern over the ongoing violence and its humanitarian consequences. The impact is especially severe in developing countries which rely on imports for essential goods. European nations are grappling with the challenge of accommodating a large number of refugees fleeing the war. They face the daunting task of providing shelter, healthcare, and education to these displaced individuals, while also addressing the strain on their own resources. As the war drags on, the global community is becoming increasingly polarized. Some countries have openly condemned Russia's actions and provided support to Ukraine, while others have remained neutral or even expressed support for Russia. This division has contributed to a breakdown in communication and diplomatic efforts. And let's talk about the economic impact. The war has had a significant impact on global markets, leading to increased inflation and uncertainty. The cost of living has risen sharply, affecting ordinary people worldwide. The economic outlook remains bleak as businesses face disruptions and investors grapple with volatile markets. Western countries have imposed economic sanctions on Russia, including trade embargoes and financial restrictions. These measures aim to isolate Russia economically and put pressure on its government. However, the effectiveness of sanctions remains a topic of debate, with some arguing that they have limited impact while others contend that they are necessary to hold Russia accountable. And what about the possibility of peace? Recent events have raised hopes for a peaceful resolution to the conflict. However, it remains unclear whether these efforts will lead to a lasting ceasefire or a comprehensive peace agreement. The willingness of both parties to compromise and the role of international mediators will be crucial in determining the outcome. It's important to stay informed about the latest developments in the Russia-Ukraine war, follow reputable news sources, and international organizations for updates on the conflict and its global implications. Engage in thoughtful discussions about the war and its impact on a global scale. Consider the perspectives of different countries and the challenges they face in this conflict. The Russia-Ukraine war has evolved into a protracted and multifaceted conflict with no end in sight. The fighting continues to cause immense suffering and has significant global implications. While there have been calls for peace and efforts to find a resolution, the path to ending the war remains uncertain. As the conflict drags on, the need for humanitarian assistance grows, and the global community must continue to seek peaceful solutions to alleviate the suffering caused by this war. This has been a look at the Russia-Ukraine war in 2025. Thank you for watching. If you want to know more about the war, do check out our previous videos on the topic. And if you enjoyed this video, please do share it with your friends.